guys. Now, we do our lives on Wednesdays, but I want to thank you guys so much for joining us on Friday. But we have a special guest that I wanted to bring on so bad, and I'm so grateful that she said yes. And she's gracious as she's blessing us with her time. This is Cari Thompson, you guys, and Cari is one of my good friends. She is also a registered nurse. She's a prior accountability and nutrition coach. And I want Cari to come in and share her story with you guys because as us women have been through the ringer with diets, losing weight, all the things, and Cari has an amazing story. And we're going to go over a little bit of what we've talked about before, which is diet trauma. So Cari, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I recognize so many of the names, and I don't know how all this technology works, Nina, but I'm assuming that we're live streaming on Facebook at the same time.
We are.
Okay. Well, yeah, you do better than me then. I'm going to have to go get my 14-year-old to come down and help me.
I know those kids are good at it.
Let me tell you. So, well, you guys, thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Nina, for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity because of life circumstances. Y'all know what I'm talking about, to be able to partner and just be a part of you and just to get to know you. I would have never gotten to know you had life not turned the corners that it did. So I'm very thankful. And I know so many people in your community and I love them so much. So even as I'm seeing the names, I'm like, oh, I know you. I love you. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, they're excited to have you in here because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I love Cari. So thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate it. It's awesome. Well, a lot of people watching know my story. Are you okay if I just go into it?
Please introduce
Okay.
yourself, tell your story, all the
Okay.
things we want to know.
So, a lot of you watching me know me from my previous place of employment and you know my story. But I have to tell you, in the last 6 months or so since everything happened, I absolutely have changed the way that I feel about a lot of things. And as evidenced by me being right here, right now, talking to somebody like Nina, who absolutely has a fabulous way at looking at nutrition and eating and exercise. And that's something I would never have been able to understand or put into my frame of reference prior to life events. So I'm just so thankful. But a lot of you guys know my story, but I am a different Cari than I was a year ago, definitely. And I think that's a good thing. But I definitely have changed a lot. I've changed a lot about what I think about things. So I'm so excited for sometimes, Nina, I hate the saying, when God closes a door, he opens a window, like, oh Lord, but God truly closed the door in my life and he truly opened a window for me. And this has just been fabulous. So my story starts out, I was always the bigger girl, growing up. And, I never thought that I was heavy until I got to high school. And then I had a coach make a comment to me about, hey, now that basketball season has started, maybe you can start losing a little bit of that weight. And that's kind of how it started. And I was like, do I need to lose weight? And if you look at pictures of me in high school, I wasn't that heavy, but I definitely was not super skinny, with long spiral permed hair and the spiked bangs. You're too young to know about that, but everybody else, what? No, I'm just teasing.
You don't see the gray hair, do you?
No, not at all. No, that's just, you put that in on purpose. That's all that people be paying big bucks to look like that. So anyway, I, graduated high school, went off to college, got married very young, had kids, and just could not get the weight off after having babies and being in a very unhappy relationship. I found myself, and yeah, go ahead and say something if you can relate. I found myself eating the food out of the kids' car seats. Now, I should not admit that because that's disgusting. Yeah. Nina's like, okay, we're going to go ahead and end this now. But it's real, it's real. And my favorite story to tell, because I think all moms that are watching me right now that have struggled with maybe not being at the weight you want to be, my favorite story to tell how I got heavy was going to Sonic, right? And getting my kids a meal. They did not need a full meal. getting myself a meal, coming home, eating all of my meal. So all 2000 plus calories of that, the fries, the shake, the, whatever I ate. And then of course I, grew up in the Clean Your Plate Club. So I would eat all of their food as well. You can't eat 3 meals at one setting and expect to stay at a weight that's appropriate for your frame. So I just started gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight. And it just didn't get better, and it didn't matter what I tried. I was so discouraged, that I was caught in that cycle of hating yourself, gaining weight, eating because you hate yourself, not really having anybody like you in my life that could give me direction on what was the right thing to do. So that's kind of how I started down that road of being heavy.
And that's like a common story, isn't it? Because we hear this all the time from women.
Absolutely, we do. I mean, I that's what I think makes me so relatable. I hope to my audience, to my podcast audience, to my Instagram audience and Facebook, is that I really get it. Like I get it. Like eating the crust off the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, get it. Like if you haven't been there, then it's hard to really know like that desperation to eat everything in sight to fix what's going on inside your heart. And that's how it all happened. My best part of my story was me deciding that a lap band was going to solve all my problems, and raising my own money. I was working as a nurse at the time, and sneaking off to Mexico alone to go have lap band surgery. And that was crazy in itself. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like if something happens to me, like hardly anyone knows I'm down here. And that's nothing against going to different countries to have any kind of work done. I mean, lots of people do that, but just the fact that I went to have such a scary surgery by myself in a foreign country, went down there, had surgery, had nothing but complications. And to this day, still complications. And so definitely something we should talk about at some point is if you can try something else before having any kind of gastric surgery, that would be great. But if you've had gastric surgery, I definitely understand that. Lost a little bit of weight. It did work. I mean, because volume, if you take in less volume, you're going to lose weight, right? I mean, that's how you guys know the surgeries work on volume and plumbing. So if we can change your plumbing, the way your food goes through your body, or if we can change the volume of the food you take in, you're going to lose weight. Also nutrients, also muscle. So it takes it all with it when you do that. Lost a little bit of weight, and then did not address my food issues, did not address my eating problems, and had to go in for 2 more procedures. Finally had the lap band removed. Of course, that was a nightmare in itself, them taking it out and making mistakes during the surgery. And no ICU nurse wants to land themselves in the ICU, which is exactly where I was. I woke up in the ICU going, what happened? So I have some kind of Frankenstein stomach thing going on. I don't really know what. They were just supposed to take it out, but.
So you got it done. How old were you when you got it done?
Oh no. Now I got to think about ages. I was probably in my early 30s.
Okay.
Early, like, boy, I'd have to think of a year, wouldn't I? I have a medical history around. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Y'all listen, I got a medical. You listen, you all need to type up one of these with your medicines and your medical history. It says 2007.
And then when did you get it removed?
I got it removed. Wait, I have that down too, Nina. Hold on. 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, so I had a lot of trouble with it. And basically, finally, through a restrictive program that everyone knows, was able to lose the rest of my weight and have been able to keep it off. I definitely fluctuate. I did add in the gym about 5-6 years ago, and that has been super helpful for my confidence and just my ability to function in daily life, like picking up 50-pound sacks of feed, being able to move patients up in the bed, just your basic activities of daily living, super affected by your ability to get in the gym. And that has nothing to do with your weight. So that has been, that's kind of my weight story.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you got the lap band and you weren't exercising, did you feel like, how did that affect your daily life?
Right. I think that I always thought I was strong. But come to find out, you just have to go to the gym for a little bit and realize you're not quite as strong as you thought. I would notice at the end of my shift that I would be tired. Probably I was malnourished. I mean, if I know how well you train your people, like I know how well, but for everybody there, you can be morbidly obese and you can be obese and be very malnourished. I see it all the time. These people come into the hospital, they have low protein levels, they have low albumin, they have, no vitamins in their system. So, because we eat foods that just don't have any density. We're eating crap food. And so I think that my malnourished and then not being able to eat very much, not being able to be hydrated properly, and then definitely not being in the gym, just not feeling strong. Like, I think even the gym, boy, it just changes your posture. It changes the way you sit. It changes the way your shoulders are squared off. You know what I mean? I'm preaching to the choir. What am I saying? You know what I mean? She's like, have you not seen me? Have you not watched my Instagram? Of course I know what you mean. Every time I see your Instagram, I'm like, man, I'm gonna start doing those workouts.
I tell you, it's the weights, they're key. Well,
I'm
and
telling you,
I love how you just said it. Like you can be lean and skinny and still be malnourished and unhealthy.
100%. You can be heavy and be that way. But I started noticing towards the end of my weight loss that everything was just kind of flat and flabby. And I was like, wow, I did not think losing all my weight would lead me to this, because this is what people do, Nina. They get to a goal they have set for themselves. And this is why I love that you don't focus on the numbers. I love that about you, because people get to that 155, 135, 147. They get to those numbers and they think that like the heavens are going to open and they've arrived. But if you have not been doing any kind of exercise or weight training all along, it's not going to be quite the arrival that you think it is. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going to be looking at all this that's left over from obesity and be going, oh, now what do I do? And now you have to start out as a baby trying to exercise and trying to figure out how that works. So I love your incorporation of both into life. It just makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and I can kind of relate with you a little bit, Carrie. Like, I've never been super overweight. I've never had, but I've been the opposite. Like, I was very skinny, very unhealthy, almost, and I hate to say this, but anorexic to the
Yeah.
point where it was like I was skinny fat and I was weak,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think it's totally relatable on both sides. So I love how you're working out now and you're getting strong in the gym. And how is this going like after the lap band removal and everything?
Yeah. So after the lap band removal, I hit the gym. And this is what I always recommend to people that come to me that have lost a goodly amount of weight and have a lot of skin. I see some people on here that I know are struggling with this exact issue, is that you really do want to get in the gym and see what you can recover by toning. There is a lot that can be done with toning. I thought that my upper stomach was lost. I thought my arms were lost. I thought I was going to have the whole shebang done. And I didn't, because I was able to, not necessarily gain a lot of muscle, but really build what I had in place. People think they're going to put on, 40 pounds of muscle. It's like, but you can work with what you got. So I was able to work with what I got. And then just this last, and I think most people probably know this in this audience, but just this last November, after hitting the gym hard for like 5-6 years, I realized that there were parts of my legs that it didn't matter how heavy I lifted. I could feel the muscle, but I couldn't see, and I just had this extra skin. So I did go in for a skin revision on my legs, which was, let me tell you, that's a surgery and a half. Come talk to me if you're going to do that. Let's talk about that. But that has taken away that extra skin, and you can actually see that I do try, that I'm lifting something. I mean, you can see it now. So that's nice. But I do want to say that if you're considering doing this, really, you need to do Nina's program. You really need to get your body. And then after lifting for like a year, then you can go, and maybe it's longer. I'm not the expert. you can go, okay, so this is going to come back, but this really isn't. Or, what bothers you? Because if it doesn't bother you, then leave it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say I'm like muscle is like the longevity tissue. It is and you can tighten a lot of things just by building and it's almost like the skin tightens along with the
Absolutely.
muscle, doesn't it?
Yes, I agree with you 100%. And I think that people oftentimes they lose their 100 pounds, they lose their 70 pounds and they run right to the surgeon. And I had a struggle with this in my previous job position, and I still struggle with it. I really think you have to put in the time at the gym and then really look at everything and say, okay, can I live with pancake boobs, or do I want to get that fixed? I mean, you gotta really think of, is this something I can live with? And there are parts of my body that are not perfect. Hello, it's a body, it's fine. But like, for instance, my stomach, not perfect, extra skin, but it's not probably worth it for me money wise and everything to go get that fixed right now. It's not going to come back. It looks fine, but who sees me like that?
I
One.
think you look great.
Thank you, but one person, and he's downstairs and he doesn't care. I don't think. I don't think he cares, and so if it's just that one person, let's just say like maybe, we were out on the lake every single day. Well, maybe that would really bother me then. So you guys got to decide like what's really important to you as far as, but definitely the gym first. It has to be what you do first. And if you can do it while you're losing weight, it will be much more effective.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so going back to the lap band,
Okay.
would you suggest the weight loss surgery for people after going through what you went through?
I don't think that a lot of people, this may answer. You and I talked about this, but I want to do a caveat. So I don't think that a lot of people do the lap band anymore because people had so much trouble with the stomach coming back over the top of the band, and the band like, strangulating the esophagus, and it like problems like I had with throwing up all the time. So I don't think they do that. So I've helped a lot of people that have had gastric surgery, like a Rowan Y, and then I've helped a lot of people that have what they call a vertical gastric sleeve, VSG or VGS, vertical gastric sleeve. Yeah, I couldn't. Is that right?
Can you tell us what the difference is for
Yeah,
those that are
yeah. So
ignorant to this?
a lap band, we don't cut anything. We just put a band around your esophagus, and it makes like a baby stomach below. It just it's around. I'm not around your esophagus, around the top part of your stomach. Excuse me. So it makes a little baby stomach. So you have to just eat a little bit, and then it goes through. And then the band can be tightened or expanded depending on how much weight you want to lose. Tons of problems with it. I really don't think they do it too much anymore. I could be wrong. A VSG, a vertical gastric sleeve, is sort of like, imagine that we take your stomach. We don't change any of the plumbing. So I don't believe, I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, somebody speak up. But they just make your stomach into like a banana shape. So they cut out the big portion. You kind of have this long banana. Those are great. High risk of reflux after that procedure. Those people, I have to be honest, I don't see them have a lot of complications as far as vitamin B, malnutrition. So they do pretty well. I don't believe they reroute your intestines.
Is
I
that
might
permanent?
It's permanent.
Okay.
They used to call it a stomach stapling. That was the other term. Have you heard that?
Yep.
That's what they used to call it. But they kind of make a long shape on your stomach. So if your stomach's like this, they kind of.
Yep.
Now, a Rowan Y is basically, we're going to cut your stomach into a small portion, and we are going to redo your intestinal plumbing. So we are taking out pieces of your intestines and we're reattaching it to the new stomach. Those people end up having a lot of complications.
Well, I was just gonna say, our intestines is where we soak up our nutrients and process
Yes.
it.
Yeah, that's why they have malnourished. That's why they have vitamin B, as in Bravo deficiencies. That's why they have pernicious anemia. Remember that those B vitamins help make red blood cells. And if you aren't making, part of your stomach, your parietal cells in your stomach is what helps methylate your vitamin B. So if you cut those out, you aren't processing vitamin B. So you're almost always low. So it's a nutrient mess.
it's like almost like, okay, we're solving one problem, but then we're creating another.
Yeah. So do I think that somebody should get gastric surgery? If I truly believe that in general, if you can do another program and lose weight, that's great. Even if you have to do a GLP 1 or 2, like if that's going to help you get on the road and get you losing weight, I'm all for it. That's not how I used to feel before. I believe that. But if you are the kind of person that needs a very drastic change, and nothing else is working, and you are super in that cycle and you literally cannot see your way out, if your heart disease is out of control, if your diabetes is out of control, if there's some reason you can't get to the gym, like physically you can't get out of your chair, I think the gastric sleeve is probably the best option. I've said to people, have you thought about a gastric sleeve? Because they have no other options. Like they literally, they couldn't get to the gym. They cannot, their mobility wise. So but in general, if I think that they could do your program, if I think that they could do a GLP 1 or 2 and get started, something I would love to see rather than redoing it. And the Rowan Y, I'd be pretty hard pressed to recommend that. Those people are some of them do great, but there's definitely ways to cheat all of them, isn't there? Even your program, there's ways to cheat it.
Oh yeah. I got macros. Like I'm meeting my macros. Right.
Yeah.
So
How many, what happened? Why did this jump up all of a sudden? Yeah.
well, gosh, thank you so much for sharing that. Cause I think this is such, cause there's all these diets and do this and GLP-1s and gastric and then, no carb. And so let's talk about your journey of dieting. I would love to know a little bit more about that.
So, I definitely have had a lot of trauma. We've talked a lot about diet trauma. I have a podcast on it. I talk about it all the time. Sorry about that. In fact, let me just turn off my volume really quick. I forgot. Sorry about that, Nina.
Oh, you're good.
Oops. Did I get rid of you? There you are. Okay. When Nina and I met yesterday, literally, like grandma was asking me to help her put her socks on. My dogs went crazy. And I have my phone like this. I'm like, hey, hang on a minute. I told her I would have everything together for today. So I'm trying to get it together.
No worries, because I have a kid at home. I got to get the dog situated. This is life, right? Like this is
Y'all
real life.
know. You guys know I don't have anything together. It's a complete facade. I have makeup on and my hair is done. That is it. Like that's as good as you. No, just teasing.
We don't even know if she has pants on. No, I'm just
I
joking.
know, I do. I promise. I promise. I showed everyone later. I thought about it. I was like, no one will know if I have comfy sweats on, but I put jeans on just for you. Jeans. I have jeans on. And they're skinny jeans. So I gotta suck in while I'm sitting here. Tell me your question. Oh, my journey with dieting. Yes, I'm back. Rabbit trail.
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw a shiny object. That was it. So I'm telling you. So anyway, I have a lot of trauma surrounding dieting, and I think that stems from, and a lot of you guys have told me your stories, and I think it stems from going into programs that are very shame-based and very, very aggressive. And there's no room for leeway. There's no room for wiggle. There's no room for a McDonald's moment. There's no room for, my daughter always says, the Lindor chocolate moments. There's just nothing. And it puts you into this mindset of being so scared, like you and I talked about yesterday. We were talking about, why do people stay in programs like that? And I do truly believe it is because people have you convinced that if you leave, that you are going to fail. And I think that that's part of it. And it creates this, like we were saying, this Stockholm syndrome, this trauma from always getting on the scale. And do you know that, and you may not, but people that are watching me right now can tell you, and I don't know if you're watching the chat or not, because let me tell you, they're all going to say yes. How many of you have had a good or a bad day, depending on what those three numbers say? No, depending on what the last number of those three numbers say. So if it says, 179 instead of 177, you have a terrible day. Like you hate your day. And by the way, you probably don't look any different. If I took a picture of you from Wednesday to Thursday, no one would know it said 177 and said 179. So maybe your tummy, whatever. Maybe who knows? So we absolutely, judge our entire day. So we get, and I believe in a scale, trust me. Like I'm not saying don't do a scale. I mean, everyone has to decide how they're going to measure success. But we get so caught up in that, and that just breeds more like failure and not feeling good enough. And then what if I don't have, and being so focused on the numbers, I think that in itself creates this diet trauma. And then if you go back to our childhoods, I mean, there's a gal, it was on my podcast, you and I talked about it yesterday. Her mom had her with her own Weight Watchers booklet when she was 5 years old. 5 years old. Now, tell me that person doesn't have some issues now. So we have the expectations as what was expected us as women growing up, and sometimes the men too. It's a little different. So you have that, the childhood, the people saying, "Oh, you're such a big girl. Should you eat that?" All the comments. You guys all have fatty 2x4, couldn't get through the living room door. I mean, everyone's been made fun of. One gal was called a watermelon butt. I mean, we all have those stories. And then you couple that with maybe being overweight, and then you couple that with trying to lose weight, and you get on a program that's very punitive. And then you couple that with maybe not going to the gym, so you're not seeing any strength or, feeling better about yourself. And it's a breeding ground, Nina. It's a breeding ground for diet trauma. That has been my experience.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I grew up in the 90s where it was like magazine covers, it was like supermodel skinny, right? And I remember even my uncle, he used to like throw us up in the air as little girls, and he'd be like, "Who has thunder thighs?" Like, and I remember this growing up, and I'm like, "Oh my God," like that, right? And this is why I had problems with the scale too. And it wasn't a overweight issue. It was how low can I get on the scale?
Yes.
And if I could get as low as possible, that was healthy. Like that's
Yeah.
what I needed to do. And it was so damaging.
And when you got there, were you any happier than you were when you were heavier?
I thought I was, but I look back at photos and I'm like, oh my God, like I was too skinny, like sickly skinny.
Right. And you probably didn't feel good about yourself. You probably didn't feel strong.
Oh, I was like always picking myself apart. You know how we do, like, ugh, ugh, I still have this. And I look back and I'm like, what was wrong with me?
I know. I know. It's terrible. I mean, I have to tell you that when I pointed out the shaming that I saw taking place, and I took a stand against it because had decided not to say anything. And then when I noticed the shaming, um, and I went forward with it, and I think I've said this on my podcast, and I said this to you, but I just have to say it again for however many people are watching right now and the people that watch the recording. When I tell you that it broke my heart, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. And I'm tough. Like I'm not a crier. I'm not, I don't, I just, I've learned not to have these big out there feelings. And I sat in my room and read your messages, just read your messages, and cried and cried and cried at the stories that I read, the trauma that had taken place from the people asking you as a little kid about your stretch marks, to people talking about your weight. I had a friend that I grew up with in the same town, and when I told my story about going to the Jenny Craig and our mom signing us up, she had the exact same experience. So I feel like it's a universal trauma that we experience as women in our society. One of my cousins said this to me. I just want to repeat this. She had her own trauma. She said to me, there's nothing like I'll just say this, white church women in the 90s, because being thin was being godly. And I thought to myself, wow. And our moms, my mom, she was just a person trying to function in that trauma and in that environment. And so that stuff inadvertently got passed down to me. And I think that's kind of how the cycle starts.
Yeah. And I feel like it's our generation too. It's like
Yeah.
the 80s, 90s, early 2000s even.
Well,
So
let me ask you, how do you feel about this? And this is maybe I should text the question to you first.
no, tell me. Yeah, go for it.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, please.
How do you feel about this body acceptance at any size. Like it is Disneyland's fault that they don't make the rides big enough. It is the airline at fault. Like, where do you stand on that? Because I don't believe it's okay to be morbidly obese. Like, I'm never going to shame you for being that way, but you know, that's super unhealthy. But I mean, where that's a tough place. That's tough. And especially someone that looks like you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think we went from one extreme to another, right? Like went from like being skinny, like this, and then it's like, oh, you're beautiful for how you are. And I completely agree. I don't care what size you are, you're gorgeous, no matter what, as a
Yes.
person. Just because you have more body fat than other individuals does not make you any uglier as a person. Like I think it's truly deep down inside in your heart, you know, the beauty, right? Inside. But at the same time is this is what we preach at Rock Body is like, let's put our health first. You know, let's not starve ourselves to lose weight, but let's definitely do a deficit so we can get you comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that, you know, if we're body fat, if we have a 50% body fat, it's not healthy because it's also putting a lot of stress on the organs and the body, which could potentially put you at risk for stroke, heart attack, you know, disease, all these things. And we don't want that for individuals. We want them to be healthy and fit and strong. But I am right here to say that I have been 120 pounds soaking wet and I'm 5'6" at my skinniest, and that was not healthy. And now I'm 165. I'm a lot heavier than I used to be. And this is why I don't love the scale so much. I think it's a great tool to help us to get to know where we're at. But it is not, this is with our rock bodies, we don't focus on typically scale weight. It's more
Good.
inches versus the scale weight. So can you be heavier and still healthy? Absolutely.
100%. I
So
agree with you 100%.
yeah,
Those three numbers, yes, they don't define us. Yes, they are one way to for us to look at how we're doing, how our progress is. But I work with a medical spa in Clarkston, Washington, and one thing I tell people is, hey, if the scale is traumatizing to you, find your way. Find your way. If you want to get a pair of jeans and try them on every Friday morning, that's fine. If you and what I love about Rock Body is that if you want to go, hey, I was bench pressing this much and now I'm bench pressing this much, that's a great way to measure success. You know, it does not, if you have scale trauma left over from another program, then for heaven's sakes, do not stress about that scale, you know. But a lot of people need some motivation to keep going. I love the idea of weighing less often. And it's even me. I wake up, Nina, and I go, oh, I can't take a drink of my water yet because I haven't peed, gotten naked, and gone to scale. And I'm like, Cari,
it's following you.
it does. And it's just like I talked about, I went live on Instagram today and I talked about the power of food. When we let food have that much power over us, the scale has that same power over a lot of you that are watching me right now. Because not all of you are rock body people. Some of you are people from my Instagram that are coming here to listen. And so it becomes, we give it what they call it personification. We give non lifelike things human characteristics. It's just a scale. It just tells your gravitational pull on this earth. And so I think it's way better. I love inches. I love pictures.
Yeah.
That's so smart. I love that you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, our rock bodies can lose body fat, but sometimes the weight can also stay the same.
100%. And
Yeah.
and a lot of other programs don't even address that.
Yeah. And so we try to do body composition. Like, what's the composition? Where's your muscle mass versus your fat mass? Let's focus on that. And I think that's so important because it's also giving power back to the woman to be like, you know what? Like, that scale, just because it doesn't budge, doesn't mean anything. I'm actually down an inch around my waist.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I have looked at the scale and I've said, you don't control me.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
control me.
Yeah.
Sorry. You don't get to decide what kind of a day I have because the number ended in a 9 instead of a 5. It's not fair. And I think the way that you look and the way that you are, I love the post you did about what you looked like at a certain weight compared to what you look like now. And that was so impactful. People need to see that. People need to see that. That the number just doesn't always matter as much as they think it does. I just love that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, because it's like, I think just us women have been through too much. We've been through the ringer, we've been through the diet trauma, we've been through the mental, um, it wears on us,
Yeah,
right?
I
And,
agree 100%.
and it's not fair. It's not fair for us women to have to go through that because there's other ways to intrinsically, um, account for success.
And you
So
have to find it. Just like my podcast, there's not only one right one. And this is true. There's not only one right way to measure success. And I think when we get caught up in that bandwagon, it's super harmful. And, one thing I do want to mention one thing, since everybody watching right now probably has some diet trauma, I do want to say that it is our responsibility as strong, and I'll say women, people, okay, I'll say people, as strong individuals, informed people who understand the way that things are, and now you're getting nutrition training with Nina, all that. It is our responsibility to own the part of the trauma that we had. Now, of course, when you were a child, you absolutely cannot be responsible for any of that stuff. So please do not say that I'm not suggesting that. If someone called you watermelon butt, like that has nothing to do, that you can't control that when you're a child. But as an adult, you control who you follow on social media. You control who speaks into your life. You control who you allow to talk about your body. If someone tries to talk about your body or what you're eating, it's not okay. It is nobody's business what's going on with you. And I think that we get in the trauma circle and we sometimes allow people to continue to traumatize us, to continue to speak into our lives and continue, and then watching things we shouldn't watch online. You know what I mean? It just absolutely adds to it. So we are responsible. And I know that's a hard word for a lot of you to hear, but you're responsible for what part am I continuing to play in this diet trauma? Because at some point, the train has to stop, Nina. And we have to get off the diet trauma train. We have to get off of it. And we have to say, okay, some really ugly crap happened to me, but I am going to move forward and I'm taking responsibility. And now when grandma so-and-so says, why are you eating that? You're so fat. You say, grandma, it's not okay to say things like that to me. Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable to say. When someone at work's like, oh my gosh, you look so good because you're skinny. That's ridiculous. I mean, we all love that compliment, but really what's behind that? That is someone making a comment about the way you look. And if you were like Nina and you had anorexia, that could send you right back into that spiral of not eating. So I just think it's really important that we take ownership. It's hard to hear, but we got to take ownership for whatever trauma that we're still allowing in our life.
yeah, I agree. I love the podcast that you did, and I can't quote it per exactly how you put it, but talking about your ears of what you hear or what you see, and it's really controlling, just like you said, your environment,
Yes,
and what you watch and what you listen to and the people you have in your life, because that also will create our outcome a lot of the time.
100%. I used to follow some accounts on Instagram, and one was you guys are all going to laugh when you hear this. Okay. So get ready. Get ready. So I used to follow this rich Dubai housewife, and she would say, you know which one I'm talking about? She's like, a day in the life of the rich Dubai housewife. Jamal, I'm extra. So I spent $5,000 on my nails. And I used to watch her because it's fascinating. I'm over here clipping coupons at the Dollar General, and she's spending $5,000 on nails. I'm like, whatever. Like, we all have different lives. Okay, I get that. But do you know what it did, Nina? You know what it did for me? It made me think, well, why can't I? Now, obviously, I'm not going to have Cartier. Obviously, I'm not getting $72,000 in jewelry. I get all that. I'm not stupid. Like, I get it. But it makes you dissatisfied with what you currently have. It's the same thing with if you follow people online that are always talking about, yeah, I didn't eat today. I just had a Diet Coke and a cigarette or like whatever, like, and they're beautiful. You're going to start to become dissatisfied with your own, the way you look, the way that you, I used to follow a lot of cosmetic surgery people because I had that leg revision done. I would follow these people, Nina, and it just got to the point where I had to stop because it was all about, and hey, trust me, I love myself some Botox and filler, but I was focusing so much on that. I was like, I don't like the way, and I'm fine. Like, why am I being so hard on myself? So the things that you put in front of you, if there are people that don't have the same values as you, and there are people that are not supporting a healthy lifestyle with balanced nutrition, people that are doing that, it is going to make you feel in general dissatisfied with things. So you have to be really careful with that. At least that's me. I had to unfollow the housewife because I all of a sudden was like, oh, well, how? And then I am wasting way too much brain space on this woman.
Yeah. It's wasted time. Like we only have so much time on this earth. And for you to spend it hating yourself and picking yourself apart is ridiculous. Like it is beyond, and it's our society's fault. Like they've just glorified all of this stuff. And you can follow anyone now and see anyone's
Yes.
life. And right, like I did that too with people that are like making a ton of money, right? And they have these mansions. So I'm living in like this, suburban to just regular area. Like, why don't I have a mansion? Right. Right. So it is, but it's damaging. And so I think we have to really like be very aware. And I love how you said this of like who we allow in our lives, what we listen to, what we watch, and make sure that it is aligned with our values. And, we can follow people who inspire us.
Yeah. When I was let go from the other company, I would go back and watch the stuff just to see what was going on. We all, hey, everyone spies. Every single one of you does it. Don't tell me you don't spy on an ex-boyfriend or something. Like, come on. Come on now. I still look and see what my ex-husband, I'm like, what's he doing? What's he doing? Anyway, but we all do it. Okay. But it kind of started to eat away at me. And I just had to stop. I just had to say, the Bible says putting things in the past and looking towards what is new. Remember Lot's wife in the Bible? She didn't obey. She looked back, she turned into salt. Like, and God told her, don't look back at Sodom and Gomorrah that's burning. Don't do it. And everybody else, Lot, his daughters, everyone looked forward. But Lot's wife looked back. And so I think that's a thing. You have to move forward with what your life is now. Find people that inspire you on Instagram because you're going to look at something, folks. We all go potty. We all go poop. We all got to have something to look at on our phone while we're going poop. So, you might as well have content that makes sense for your life. And I'm telling you, it will make a difference. If you aren't having peace, if you are having anxiety, if you're having a lot of FOMO, I'm telling you, it's what you're watching. Not everyone. At least it was for me. So
I like this. Well, and it kind of loops into this whole diet trauma thing, right? Like it's just like hand in hand.
it just continues it. It really does.
Yeah. So everything that you've been through, Cari, with the surgeries, the diet trauma, like if someone was struggling out there with their weight, getting in shape, getting healthy, like what would you suggest like for them? Because I know that there's multiple, because even rock bottom may not be suitable for everyone. And I completely agree with that. I like how you're like, it's different for everyone. There's all different types of methods. But what would you say to someone that is just really struggling right now that doesn't know what to do and doesn't know where to go?
Right. I get this question probably 5 to 10 times a day. So I know. And so yeah, and also when I was done working with the other company, I had a lot of people offer me jobs right off the bat. And so it was definitely a little bit challenging for me. I I feel like that everybody has to kind of decide what's best for them. I had somebody say to me today, I'm so confused. There's so much information out there. Like, who do you believe? Who do you trust? And so when people ask me this very question, I always ask them first, what has worked for you in the past? You know, some people love carnivore. They do great on carnivore. I felt horrible on carnivore, you know, and then I always ask people, are you interested in doing the gym? Is it time for you to get that part of your life in order? If that's what you're looking for, if you can go to the gym, if you can commit to throwing away some of the old ways, because a lot of people come to me from, you know, my previous employment. If you can get rid of some of the old ways of thinking, I absolutely think that your program is excellent. I think as long as they can go to the gym and they're ready to shift their way of thinking, that is a great way to go. I like a balanced approach. I really do. And I used to, you know, I used to have it drilled in my head, well, there is no balance. There is no moderation. And I just truly cannot believe that. I just truly in my heart, I believe there is a program out there that has balance, that has moderation. But if you have felt great on Weight Watchers in the past, then go for it. You know, I want you to pick somewhere that will teach you about food better. So you understand that carbs are not the enemy, that, you know, we have to take the emotion out of food and we have to make it neutral, and you're just making choices that align with your goals. And I think that's where people have missed the mark. So if you can go to the gym, and you're ready for something balanced, I really do love your program. And I've been trying to send people over to it that are ready for that. You know, otherwise I ask them, well, who do you trust? Is it Dr. Mark Hyman? He has a phenomenal book called Eat Fat, Get Thin. I mean, I love his way of thinking and his way of eating. You know, where are you? Are you desperate and you have considered surgery? Well, let's talk about that. You know, do you want to do a program but you cannot control your hunger? Well, let's talk about something for that. So I try to kind of take into consideration people's backgrounds, and then we go from there. That's sort of the approach I've been taking with people, because I can tell you, I'm not going to be coaching macros. Just for all of you all listening, I am not going to be telling you how much fat, how many calories. I did that for too long. I'm done with it. Y'all that used to work with me, you know I hated it. I'm not good at it. It's not my thing. If you need help pooping or sleeping, I'm your girl.
I love it.
I'm
And
not
this is what you're doing now for women. You're like kind of advising them and what can be best suited for them going forward, correct?
I'm trying to. In August, I will be launching my own personal coaching, and I am working with several other people, but I'm going to be doing my own personal coaching. And just so everyone's watching, they understand it is not going to be, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. I'm not. I'm just not going to do it. You have to decide what program you want to do. But my coaching will coincide with any program. It really will. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you even just have regular trauma that you want to get over, if you just want to come for the support, it is going to be a faith-based coaching program, and it'll be low cost, and it will just be come in. We're going to do Bible studies. We're going to talk about how to stay on track. I'm going to give you general wellness, health tips and tricks. We will talk about, you know, generally things. I don't think Nina's program or anybody, I don't think you have people eating at 11 o'clock at night. Maybe you do. Do they eat that late?
Not really.
You know, the general things like, you know, hydration and just good health, smart, healthy things. But I'm not going to be doing macros or telling you what to eat. So you're going to come to my program as an additive, as a bonus, as a little add-on to help support you on the spiritual side and on the mental side of staying on track, no matter what you're doing. As long as you're not trying to have a tapeworm or you're doing math, you're welcome. You can come in the program. Just please no math. Like, don't be doing math and then here I'm praying for you. No, I'm not praying that your math works and you lose weight. So we're not doing that. But any program that you want to do, I am here for you. And that's what I'm going to be doing. And then, of course, I'm going to have 2 levels of coaching. One will be a higher touch, a little bit more interaction with me. But we're just going to have a page where we get together. We talk about the goodness of God. We talk about how to invite spirituality back into our eating and being thankful. And we're just going to do a bunch of stuff like that. So that's my plan for that. And of course, I've got big things coming on the podcast. It's been a lot of fun.
I love that. I feel like it's so in alignment with who you are and what you believe and just how you live.
Thank you so much. I just felt like when I looked at where do I want to go as a person, I did not want to go back into saying to people, you all have to do this one program. This is the only way to be healthy, because I really do think there are different modalities of being healthy. And I want to support you no matter what you're doing. I am here for you. I can help you stay on track. I'm just not personally going to tell you what your ratios need to be. I'm going to leave that to the experts. That's not going to be me.
I love that. And I love how you said you're like, I want to bring God back into the kitchen. What does that mean?
Yeah, we've all kicked God out of the kitchen. It's funny, and I don't think we have to be hyper spiritual about it. But those of us that are Christians, we walk around and we're like, Lord, bless my finances. Lord, help my relationship. Father, Lord, Jesus, just Lord, get a hold of those kids in Jesus' name. Get a hold of those kids. We pray and we thank God for things. And then the minute we start to sit down to eat an entire gallon of ice cream because we're having a bad day. And then maybe God goes, hey, hold on. Hey, hang on. Why don't you come to me and let me help you deal with your day? Then we're like, nope. We get this thing about our food and we bring it in close to us and we just say, no, I don't want any help. And I don't want to discuss this with you. And we've effectively kicked Jesus out of our kitchens, and we don't want the Bible says that God, when a sparrow falls, that God knows that sparrow. And it says, how much more do you mean to your Father than a sparrow? So if God cares about how many hairs are on your head, if God cares about every tear, the Bible says that he collects every tear. If he cares about that, then for heaven's sakes, he cares about what we eat. And you don't have to make it like spiritual, like, God, should I eat this bread? I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. Like, Lord, may I have a Diet Coke? I'm not like that. But I'm saying, like, why don't we ask for help? Why are we doing all this on our own? And then we wonder why it doesn't work. So that's kind of part of what I believe in that.
I love that. I love that so much. Thank you
It's
so much for sharing all of this. I'm
welcome.
so excited for you. And I feel so honored and so grateful to have you on here and just be sharing this with our community.
Oh, I appreciate it. And then, I'm looking forward to being able to do more things with you coming up.
Yeah. So may I spill the beans?
Yes. I thought you were going to forget.
Yes.
I was like texting you over here.
Nina, I know, right?
Nina, what's going on?
Yeah.
Are
So
we accepting questions from the audience? What's happening?
no, if you guys have questions for Cari, throw it on the chat, please. We would love to. We got a couple of minutes. We'd love for her to answer your questions because I want.
Yeah, or is anybody on Facebook? Are you monitoring that chat? Or is there a chat on that
Yeah,
live?
I have the Zoom chat here. Do you mind going back and answering questions on the Facebook?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
As long as they're not hard on
Yes.
Tuesday.
They're gonna start quizzing you. But well, and here's what I want to say is I'm very excited about this because I feel like Cari and I have such a connection because we have fun with this, right? And we have the same mentality when it comes to diet, health, exercise, all the things. Because I'm so right there. Like I think that, there's not one good answer for every single person specifically. It's to each their own, and we are here to help if that feels in alignment with people. And I am very excited because we're going to bring Cari on as the rock body nurse. And and what this entails is I would love Cari too, is I would love for her to bring in some of her spirituality, her belief systems, emotional support with this, but also the medical side of things, because I am a health and fitness coach and have been for over a decade now. So I can tell you what macros to eat, educate you on carbohydrates, tell you how the carbohydrates metabolize in your body, and teach you how to lift weights. But it is out of my realm to go over if you're going through diabetes, medications, if you've gone through weight loss surgery in the past, all of these medical things that tend to come up for us, that's where Cari is going to come into play. So I'm so excited about this. And anyone that joins the program that is new is going to get a session with her every 6 months, being in the program one-on-one with her.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. And then anyone who is currently in the program and would love to meet with Cari, just let us know, because we can definitely work that out with you guys and add that to your coaching. But it's going to be that support that I cannot give, and that she's going to come in as a professional and with love and knowledge and be able to bless us with all of this. So
It's just the perfect partnership. I'm super excited to get to do this because, you guys know, I love all things medical. And of course, I'm not going to give you medical advice, but I'm going to try my hardest to make suggestions. And if we need to see your doctor, we'll talk about that. We will help. We will get you figured out. Now, I do have a question. Are you ready?
yeah.
Lorraine wrote a question. You
Yeah.
mentioned being in the gym as you lose weight. If you're past this stage, what do you do now to recommend for loose skin? Lorraine, my question for you is, are you currently in the gym? How long have you been in the gym? That's what I would ask first, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's have her answer that.
What
And
is she doing in the gym?
because I am just telling you that when I started in the gym, I was surprised at how much bounced back. Some stuff, it's not going to come back. It just isn't. And then you have to ask yourself if you can live with it, or if this is something you'd like to talk to somebody. I mean, they have amazing financing for everything medical these days. So it's really amazing. But if you've been in the gym a long time and you really put in the time, you're doing Nina's program and you're not a few times a week, mostly yoga, weights at home. Lorraine, I'm going to suggest that I'm not the exercise person, but I think that lifting, Nina, you answer. Never mind. I don't know why I'm trying. Why am I trying? I don't know. I'm going to be quiet now.
No, I love it. I love it. No, a few times a week, mostly yoga. So yoga is a fantastic exercise, but it is not a muscle building exercise. So weights at home is great. But I'm not sure what kind of regimen the weights at home is. Sometimes, if we're doing it on our own, I don't know about you guys, but if I work out, granted, I have a gym in my home, but if I'm in my spare room with 5-pound dumbbells, I'm like, a little this, little this, little this. So what I would say is just get on a very calculated program. And what we have to offer at Rock Body is, this is where women go wrong all the time. And I want to say women because most of our followers are women and clients. But if you are not following a specific regimen as far as sets, reps, and the type of exercise, I would try that first, because there's a lot that can be done with toning and firming and building muscle when you're doing specific workouts and calculated. Because I've done it before, gone in the gym and worked out at home, I don't know, doing a little bicep curl. I do one of these, do one of these, and then I don't know, sure, okay, that works. But when you have something that's very okay, we're going to start with squats, and then we're going to do deadlifts, and then we're going to do lunges, and then we're going to do this, and this is how many sets and reps you have this week. And then, 4 weeks later, we're going to advance you, and then you're going to this many sets and reps. That has made a tremendous difference with myself and our Rock Bodies, and calculated workouts make a huge difference.
That was way better than what I was saying.
But I could be wrong. If we're already doing that.
What she said, that is perfect. You guys, listen, I've been in the gym 6 years, and I am going to be starting to do Nina's program. I am going to pull it open, and she says there's an at-home or a gym workout, and you just start and you go through. So even though I don't consider myself advanced in the gym, but I'm not like a beginner, I need somebody to help me stay on track. I need somebody to make sure that I'm progressing, because we all we tend to want to do the same things. And when I was teaching the old lady exercise class, if they had 5-pound dumbbells, 6 months later, why do you still have 5-pound dumbbells? Why? But I don't have the training and the knowledge to go get 7s, go get 8s. What are you doing? And so you need somebody that has the knowledge, that knows what they're talking about, that can help you with that kind of stuff. And that is So just so you guys know, I'm going to be doing it. I'm hoping to shape a couple, now that I've had the surgery, I'd like to shape a couple parts of my body and really work on it. So I'm super excited. Hey, I'll work for free for Nina to get that. So I am really, and if you get a hold of her, she can tell you, for those of you that aren't in her program, that are just watching from my Instagram or whatever, just Cari people. She can tell you about what they offer. I was so impressed. Like, I got so excited after our call. I was like, what? Like, I'm in the gym, looking around, listening to my music. I need some help to stay on track. So I am really excited to work with you and get to do your program. I'm going to be like, hello, my name is.
You already got those good shoulders.
I got this. Yeah, you should see my booty though. We should talk. In fact, hold on. I'm teasing. I am teasing. You all know me too well.
All women, we all want firm toned butts.
I will. I'm telling you. Like the panty commercial booty.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that booty.
Yep.
Does anybody else have any questions before we go? I just want to make sure I answer all the questions. You guys can always message me. If you are not a Nina person and you would like to become one, I'm happy to help you. She's happy to help you. Like
all the Nina people too. All the rock buddies. Like what I'm gonna do is I'll put your information to your Instagram, your Facebook. I'm gonna put the link to your podcast. You guys please go listen to her Cari's podcast is amazing. It's called Very Cari. I love it. Look at that.
Cari Thompson RN at Cari Thompson RN CARI. If you want to follow me on Instagram, the podcast, if you go into Apple Podcasts, y'all listen, type in Very Cari podcast. It's going to come right up. There I am. So listen, subscribe. And then I have exciting news that you don't even know about, Nina. As of Monday, my YouTube channel is up and running. Yes, I'm so excited because it takes a lot of work and my team finally has it up and running. So if you don't mind, if I just say, if you go to, I have a link, but just look me up, Cari. If you message me, I'll get you the link to actually, I just put it in my stories. I'll get you the link to my YouTube, subscribe. And some people prefer to watch the podcast, like physically watch them. My mom is that way. She said she's going to put it up on our big screen and watch it. I was like, you can just listen to it. She's like, no, I want to watch. So if you are a podcast watcher and you want to see my one strip lash that's like going like this during my podcast, feel free to go onto YouTube and it's going to be up on Monday. Really excited about that. Everyone's been waiting on that.
Cari, post it in the comments down below.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And then we'll get everyone.
I'm going to copy that link right now. I'm going to pull it open because I know right where it is. I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't even think about that.
Expressions when you do your podcast. Yeah. I think people like watching, right? Like we love videos. Yes, there it is.
Guys, thank you. I should have done that. And then if you don't know who I am on Instagram, it's at, oh, you can't do that. It's Cari Thompson RN. So that's my Instagram if you want to find me on Instagram. And I've always got something going on there. Listen, Nina, I have a chicken video. Does anybody know about the duck and the cats that's watching the duck and the cat video? My duck, I'll tell you this and I'll let you go. My duck got out, my baby duck, that big, Leisha knows, went into the kitty cats. The mama cat took it in there and put it in there. It's a cute video. My daughter found it the next morning. Yeah. So that's not even the cute part. What's the cute part? Does anybody want to make a guess on how many views? Anybody want to guess? How many guess? 836,000 views this stupid video has had. Yeah.
Did the cats take the duck in and like
mama cat found the baby duck out and took it in through a special cat door into the baby kittens and put it in with its kittens.
God,
yeah. If you haven't seen the video, this is it. Go watch it. It's my daughter discovering the baby duck in with the cats. That's not even the best part. The best part is 836,000 views. What are people doing with their time? So yeah, it's in there.
At your duck videos?
Yeah, y'all go follow me on Instagram. You can see that stupid duck video that like has like people keep commenting. I'm like, my Lord. But what's funny, Nina, is that there are people, all sorts of people that are following me now because of that video. But let me just tell you, they came for the ducks, but I hope they stay for the Jesus, because I don't post as much Jesus. I post way more Jesus than I do ducks. So Hello Kitty 227 is going to be surprised when I start praying in my live. They aren't going to know what to think.
Well, and for all of you guys that don't know, Cari has a farm. Like you live in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And her property is beautiful. She has like 10 dogs. How many dogs do you have?
Okay, 10. I have 7 inside and 2 outside. Okay. I mean, I feel like you're exaggerating when you say 10 instead of 9. Okay, I'm teasing.
And she has a whole farm, and it's so awesome. I love when you share your personal like farm videos. I think it's so fun. It's so
People
fun.
love them, and evidently everyone loves that stupid duck and cat video. So yeah, and if any of you need a kitten, I have 4 I'm trying to get rid of right now, just so you know. So
There you go.
I will mail them USPS, but I do have to do priority mail on the kittens. So
Are you being serious?
no, I won't mail.
Can you mail the cats?
But you can come and get one at my house in Kentucky. I'm not mailing them.
Oh my God, it's cute. That's cute.
It's like, is that a Kentucky thing?
Like,
We didn't mail cats in Kentucky.
You never know. I mean, you can ship anything these days.
Let me tell you, people are interesting. I have a friend in New York City, and she's like talking about the pressures of living in New York City because everyone's so Botoxed up and beautiful and super skinny and all that. And I tell her, oh, don't worry. In Kentucky, I'm a solid 8. But in New York, I'd be a 3. So that's my joke. So come to Kentucky where you will be beautiful. Actually, they have beautiful people here, but it's interesting. It's a great place.
I say the same thing about Idaho sometimes. So thank you so much, Cari. It is such
You're welcome.
pleasure. I'm so excited. This is going to be awesome. And like I said, we'll put Cari's information down below so you guys can get a hold of her. We're going to repost this video so you guys can go back and watch it, replay it, whatever you want. And we're here for you guys, whether it be spiritual, if you're like wondering, where do I go? Please get a hold of Cari. Where do I go from here with my journey? She'll point you in the right direction. She's very knowledgeable. She's had the experience. And if you're ready to get toned and firm and buff, then you just get a hold of us. So
I'm excited. I'm excited to do it. And I'm gonna keep you guys updated with my progress. And I'm also really excited to get to know your people as I get to meet with them. That's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be, and hopefully I know most of them. But if I don't, welcome to the craziness.
The very Cari.
Very Cari. It is all very Cari.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. And if you guys have any more questions, put it down below. Cari will keep an eye out on the page a little bit. And thank you so much for joining us. We will be back next week on Wednesday. And we love you all. Thank you, Cari.
Bye, everybody.